companies are poised to really benefit from a build-out in broadband. Here with us right now, Julius Hollis, founder and CEO of the Alliance for Digital Equality. Also, Roger Kay, president and founder of Endpoint Technologies. Great to see both you guys. I'm going to begin with Julius right here with me on set. Give me a sense. You're saying that for every $1 billion, every $5 billion, excuse me, that's going to translate to 250,000 jobs. So if the government's spending $5 billion in broadband, you're going to actually get 200,000 plus jobs. Walk me through those numbers, how you came to this analysis and conclusion.
It's actually 250,000.
250,000.
100,000 will come from the telecom industry, and then another 150 will come from the IT network providers.
Okay.
So if you look at the fact that we would have to invest $350 billion to build a national broadband infrastructure, that translates into roughly over 1,000,002 jobs.
Okay, so this could be a significant boost to the economy, obviously, at a time when it desperately needs new jobs. Let me ask you, though, I mean, these costs are so enormous. Overall, what would it really cost to get something like this rolled out?
Well, it would take the private sector working with the federal government to make the necessary private investments to build the infrastructure that's required.
How much money are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about probably 10% of that amount, $350 billion, probably up to about $100 billion to really jumpstart that process. Mm-hmm. The president is very much committed to do that. We have to increase the move of the United States up from right now 15th in the country to about in the top 10, and that's going to take a massive Marshall-type plan to do that.
And how does that fit with, you know, and I want to get to Roger momentarily to talk about who might benefit from this, but Julius, I'll stay with this for a moment. How do you work here to have both the government and the private sector involved in this?
Well, the private sector will indeed have to make the majority of the investments. The public sector must provide the regulatory framework to stimulate those private dollars coming in from the AT&Ts, from the Viacoms, and other technology companies that will build this network out.
Okay, let's talk about the what-if scenario. Roger, if we do in fact see something like this, talk to me about who might benefit company-wise. I mean, as an investor, how could I be well-positioned to get ahead of something like this?
Right. Well, you're going to have a lot of segments that are affected by this development. It really is a huge development, as Julius has said. Mm-hmm. And so basically, if you look at them in groups, the carriers who are the ones that are going to actually provide the service. And they're the ones that are going to mostly have to make the expenditures, and they may not be able to bill back all of it through to their subscribers right away. So for them, it's going to be a little tough. Some guys who are really going to enjoy it, though, are the content providers. So you've got people like Disney who provide movies, high-definition video. That stuff will go out over these wires. They'll be able to charge their subscribers a premium for it. And basically, they don't have to do much else. They have to prepare it a little bit. But from their perspective, they get to use the pipes. And so they're going to be in a very good position.
Yeah, because they can go out there and charge more money for all their content to all these potential new customers. But I guess one of the questions I have is, if it's going to be a difficult challenge in the way of some of these copper carriers, as you call them, the AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, the ones that are going to actually be in charge of or need to lay all this out, if it's going to be so costly for them and so difficult for them to recoup their costs in the near future, how do you get them to do it, Roger?
Well, I suspect that actually the federal government is going to have to step in with tax credits and other incentives, similar to the rural telephone provision that they did in the past, where, you know, how do you get service out to the very end of the wires? Well, you have to pay them to do it in some way, give them a subsidy. So I suspect that that'll have to be worked into this whole plan.
No, I agree with Roger. The federal government will have to step up to the plate and give guarantees. Well, even more importantly, private companies will have to recalibrate their business models and their respective supply chains to allow small businesses that are embedded in some of the communities, affluent as well as distressed communities, an opportunity to provide jobs. And that is extremely important for us.
Okay, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Roger. Coming up next on Street Signs, do you want the government telling you where to put your money? Why you might not have a choice in this? Plus, Netflix